locked on Black Power 96.3 FM. From time to time, I'll peek on in and we'll go together and get through this storm, get through this terrible weather together as we get prepared for Hurricane Milton, headed our way to the coastal area of Tampa Bay and Sarasota area. So, again, we're going to get through this together, man. You and me and you and I, we are black people united. Again, the full update will be, the next one will be up at 5 o'clock, but anything comes in for us, a tornado spin, which we are in a tornado watch, not warning, but watch in the Tampa Bay area. That's going to, when that goes to a warning, I'll make sure you know there's a tornado warning now in our area. Keep it locked on BP 96, where we're not just displaying the world. Your favorite DJ in the booth, we're changing. And they're live in St. Petersburg, Florida, at the Tropicana Field, the Tropicana Dome. There has to be some type of construction going on there. Hurricane Milton just tore the roof off the sucker. They would say tear the roof off the sucker, take the roof off the sucker. But I tell you, this is the magnitude of this storm that has moved through the Tampa Bay area in St. Petersburg, Florida. Here, got a lot of damage. A lot of trees are down. We're going to see some more damage in the morning. We're not all the way out of the woods. You see some rain bands will be moving through. Some flooding is going on. So you just keep it locked on Black Power, 96.3 FM, WBPU, LP, St. Petersburg. We are Black People United. DJ Eddie in the booth all night long, bringing you any updates I get. I'll be back on Black Power, where we're not just displaying the world, we're changing it.
Yahoo! And welcome to this special program to raise funds for a new emergency alert system for Black Power 96.3 FM radio in St. Petersburg, Florida. This radio station is a project of the African People's Education and Defense Fund. We salute the president of the baddest nonprofit on the planet, Onazene Yeshitela. My name is Mariah, and I'll be emceeing today's program along with Mr. Eddie Maltzby, the world's best blind DJ and the station manager for this Black community radio station. Yoo-hoo, Mr. Eddie.
Yoo-hoo, Conrad. Mariah up there in Mississippi. How are you doing, love?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am great here on the ground here in St. Petersburg, Florida. I want to appreciate all the people that are watching, all the people that are tuning in to get us where we need to be for this big fundraiser that is coming up all month long here, Black Power 96.3 FM. I want to salute not only the deputy chair Onazene, but the chairman Omala Yeshitela for all that he has done for these incredible institutions, Mariah.
Yes. I gotta say, Mr. Eddie, Black Power 96 Radio is a unique FM radio station that serves first and foremost the neighborhoods on the south side of St. Petersburg, Florida, a large historically Black community in a majority white city. We play all kinds of Black music and we broadcast news and public affairs programs that inform and connect our African people and our struggle for liberation and self-determination. Black Power 96 is in the first week of our annual February Black History Month fund drive. The station relies on the donations of our listeners and supporters, the individuals, the artists, the pastors, and the business people from this community and all around the world to keep this important community resource going strong. And we need to raise $12,000 this month for both our regular operating expenses and for two special projects, which we will talk about in today's program. Mr. Eddie, what has been the response from the community so far?
The response has been great. People have been coming by, knocking on the door, also donating online. So many people. Becky from Minnesota has donated so many. Malcolm from Massachusetts, want to thank him. So many people. Brother Kim knocking on the door. So many. I'm telling you, the response has been incredible. They love this station, not only for just the music, but they love this station for also the messages that are going out. Black Power 96.3 FM, one of the radio stations that tell the truth, that brings the truth, that honors Black people. And so I want to thank just so many, Sharon Bacon, banging, knocking on the door and supporting. And you name it, and they are coming by. Miss Minnie Jackson just donated $30 online. And I want to thank WSB Roofing, $100. I mean, the list goes on and on from across the country and around the world. And yes, here on the ground, right?
on and on across the world, just as you said, Mr. Eddie. And so far, we raised 500 in our first 2 days. And I mean, I know that there's people coming through the door down there. There's donations coming in online, and just the generosity of the church that will be hosting the February 15th gospel concert. I mean, all of that is just, I mean, it's so great. And today, we want to raise an additional $1,000 in order to complete the first phase of the February fund drive, which is to
Yes.
raise $3,000 for a new upgraded emergency alert system.
Mhm.
We began with a $1,500 matching fund that was created by 5 generous donors, our volunteers, Chris, Lisa, Simone, and Sandy, along with a longtime anonymous donor to the station. So when you donate today, your dollars are doubled by the matching fund, and we will reach our goal. You can donate online now at blackpower96.org/donate or use Cash App BlackPower96. And we'll talk about more ways to donate a little later in the program.
Awesome.
Now, you might ask, what's an emergency alert system and why do we need it? Well, we have 2 special guests with us today to talk about the important role that community radio plays in providing on-the-spot information to local neighborhood listeners when natural disasters strike. Bennett Cobb is an expert on emergency communications, and Walter Smith Jr. is an engineer with the Sierra Club in Florida. And we thank you both for joining us. And before we go to Ben and Walter, we need to give some background about why we're even coming to you, our supporters, to raise the resources for this important emergency alert service that Black Power 96 provides to our community. This should be something that our local elected officials should recognize and support. I mean, unfortunately, they don't work for us, and we know that. They work for the exploiters and the parasitic developers that are trying to drive Black families out of St. Pete. And we are coming to you, the supporters of independent Black community radio, to find and fund the purchase of a needed emergency alert system upgrade because the local elected officials have stolen from us the funding for which we had qualified to pay for these important tools. Mr. Eddie, can you tell us what happened to the funds that were supposed to be coming to Black Power 96 for our emergency alert system and other equipment to keep the station on the air?
Yes, Mariah, I certainly can. And I want to appreciate that you asked this question because we was revoked about $100,000 in grants. And where we were approved the grants at first, then when it was come time to sign the check for Black Power 96.3, they revoked it, the check. We was ranked 4 out of about 75 applicants. That is a very high rating. Again, we was approved. So at the 9th hour, they rejected the check and revoked the fund. These funds were going to all kinds of things that we need here at the station. One was for a generator. So when we have a storm, such as the last storm that came, Milton, and the one before that, we could stay on the air no matter what. We were able to broadcast and send out the message to the local people and people that from afar using our app to say what's going on in this neck of the woods. Because just because you don't live here, you might have family members that live here, and you want to know what is the hurricane doing at a certain time. So that $100,000 what is going to help us get that emergency broadcast system going up and running and keep it going so that we could have a generator to support not only the radio station as broadcast system, but for food, for shelter, for housing that people may knock on the door and need a place to come and be with a generator running. Not only that, accessibility tools. I'm 100% blind and I cannot see. So as station manager, I need a few extra tools to help me do the things that I normally could do if I was able to see. So this grant has really just not only hurt the community, but hurt us as a whole, as a family. Not only that, we are going to continue to sue because we do have a lawsuit against the county because what they did was absolutely wrong. What they did was stolen resources like they have before. Yes, back to you, Mariah.
Oh, just stolen, like you said, Mr. Eddie. And I mean, Pinellas County, come on, revoked 2 grants totaling $100,000 that Black Power 96 did qualify for. They were revoked and denied by politicians just because we stand for the Black community.
Yes.
But like you said, we're suing them in federal court in violation of our First Amendment rights.
Yes,
And for racial discrimination, because this federal COVID relief funding was granted to the county based on the statistics of poverty in the Black community. But the monies are all going to white groups. People from the community attended a county commission meeting and spoke on our behalf, and over 800 people stopped by the station to sign a petition supporting our receiving the grants. Wow.
Yes.
It's outrageous, but they will not silence us or prevent us from fulfilling our mission. And our mission is to serve our community.
Yes, the people. Mm-hmm.
With your support, the people, Black Power 96 will continue to grow and thrive. Not just explaining the world, but we're changing it. So, as we hear from our special guest, please go to blackpower96.org and show some love to our community. First, we'll go to Bennett Cobb. Ben recently retired as a contractor with FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. He generously volunteers his time to support the efforts of small and large community radio stations across the country as we work to carry out our responsibility to provide emergency survival information to our listeners. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good to be here. And I've been listening online to BP 96, loving it. I heard some Harold Melvin, is that right? Just a few minutes ago. Love that song.
Yes.
You folks are doing great, and you are doing exactly what the low power FM radio stations were intended to do. I want to say to every listener here that if you support this station, you are supporting you. You are supporting your safety, and you are supporting an institution that is here not to sell you stuff, not to expose you to more advertising for jewelers and car dealers and all that hoorah that you hear on other stations. This station is different. And there are no multimillionaires behind this station, okay? It's just your folks. So we can talk about emergency alerts and so forth, but the bigger picture is continuing the station, supporting its health in all the things that it does. So I just have to applaud you for the great job that you are doing. The emergency alert system is what I worked with in Washington, D.C. before I escaped from D.C. just in time and retired, but I'm still very interested in the community radio stations meeting their legal obligations. And one of these obligations is the emergency alert system. BP 96 simply cannot legally continue without its proper connection to the emergency alert system. And that is, I understand, one of your key milestones in this fundraising here. It requires the purchase of an upgraded device, equipment in the station that essentially conveys the emergency messages from the authorities, especially weather authorities, to the listeners. So this is
right. That's exactly right, Ben. When it comes to that, that's exactly what we're doing is raising those funds to purchase that new emergency alert system and software. And I just kind of wanted to jump in and see, and I'm glad you touched on that. Can you tell our listeners why we even need to have this and what it does? How does it work? And how does this piece of equipment support the station's mission to inform our community?
Every radio and TV station in America is required to participate in the emergency alert system. But we have found that it's the community radio stations, the non-commercial radio stations, that really honor that commitment more than the commercial stations who do the absolute minimum, if they do that at all. So this is a device that is in the station that is basically, it has three roles of national, state, and local. The national is easy to explain because it connects to the White House. So the EAS, Emergency Alert System, is top job is to enable the president to communicate with the public by radio and TV from wherever they are within 10 minutes of their request. Now, this has never actually been used in an emergency. There have been tests, but it's never actually been used. We hope in our lifetime the president doesn't have to send some message to the entire nation. Although I'm a little concerned that the new administration may have their itchy finger on the button. But this has not been used. So it is also available to state and local authorities. Where you have your state authorities is to some extent your Amber Alerts, your missing and endangered person alerts. And then at the local level, this is where we talk about emergencies that affect your specific community. So it's connected to the National Weather Service, to local authorities whenever there's some kind of a warning or alert that you need to receive.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And this piece of equipment is needed to be able to speak to the community. So can you just kind of, and I want to kind of go back to how you recognize that small and large community radio, stations, the operation's different there, and, and what it takes to run, it's a lot of times it's the same. And the resources, that's important. Can you speak to us just about how that importance in general of local community radio station are and why people should even support it?
Well, the federal government resisted the idea of low power, non-commercial community radio stations for years. People wanted to establish such stations. They're not being served by the existing corporate infrastructure. And now there's only a small number of large companies that own hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of radio stations across the country. And they're not generally too interested in specific communities like your station is. However, President Obama changed that. He directed the government to study the question, and what they found is a lot of the arguments against it were faulty. So starting with that fresh look, thousands of new community radio stations were established across the country. Thousands. It's about 2,000 today. So it's part of a national movement. And so there are many stations of this type, although I would say not as many specifically directed to the Black community and focused on Black community public safety. So I think you are unique in that respect. Now, these are entirely non-commercial. These stations do not accept advertising. They're completely dependent on donations and volunteerism. So I recommend to anyone listening, give what you can. And if you can volunteer or support this station in any way, you are supporting yourself, your voice, your safety. That's my message today.
Wow, Ben, your voice, your safety. I heard that. And thank you so much, Ben. We really appreciate the expertise and just being able to really answer to, why this is important. And thank you for sharing that with us for sure. And being able to share emergency alerts with our listeners is a critical part of Black Power 96's mission. And that's why we are calling on our supporters to donate now. And so we can reach our goal of raising the last $1,000 to purchase this $3,000 piece of equipment. And we want to thank the donors who have contributed since the start of the February fund drive towards our $1,500 matching fund challenge. Mr. Eddie, you've been getting donations from people calling the station and coming through the door there at the station, right?
Yes, yes. A lot of them have calling this station and not only making pledges, but coming by to, like I always say on the radio, bang, bang, knock, knock on the door. When I come to the door, you say time to support. And they have been doing that. Like I mentioned earlier, WSV Roofing, so many, Sharon Bacon, and she gave for her mother. Her mother passed 2 years ago, and she told me, I want to give in donation for my mother, who passed on the 12th of February. So just coming up for her anniversary. But so many continue to come by and support this station on a daily basis. And they're going to do it all month long. But in this case, this is precedent that we get this emergency broadcast system, because just like Mr. Ben said, we cannot continue without it. They will actually shut us off the air because it's a federal thing that we have to do. It's not that we can get by with not doing this. So we're counting on all the public to stop by and donate as soon as they can. Donate, please.
donate, please. Like you said, bang, bang, knock, knock. And I mean, that's so wonderful. And we also, I mean, we're getting all kind of donations here. And just Mr. Eddie, just to kind of touch on some of them I see here is we got MQ out in Florida. We got Becky up in Minneapolis,
Mhm.
Malcolm in Massachusetts. We got Ryan out of New York, Mr. Kim over in St. Pete, Erlene and Merlene in St. Pete, WSB Roofing in St. Pete, Trent. We got Miss Minnie Bells out of St. Pete and Lisa, our postal worker out of St. Pete. So, I
Yes.
mean, just come on.
Mhm.
I mean, this is wonderful.
Yes, it actually is very wonderful that they care enough about this station to come out. It's their community radio station. I say it on air. It's your community, your stories, your station. It's the people station.
People station, your station. I love it. So, I mean, we started off this morning with a goal to raise the remaining 1,000 we needed to make the matching fund. So we want to thank the people who have donated today in St. Pete. Teresa gave $20, Deborah gave $40, Sharon gave $40 in memory of her beloved mother.
Mhm.
Pastor Willie Houston gave $50, Lenora gave $5, Lucille gave $50, Evangelist Sharon Price gave $20, and Miss Minnie Jackson gave $30. Leah in Minneapolis gave $50, and also Bennett Cobb, one of our special guests we just spoke with today, has just contributed $25, and we
Awesome.
got a donation through Cash App of $25 from Miss Christine. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So let's see. That brings us to $305 raised already. Wow, leaving us so we can have just $695 more to raise during our program. And I mean, I know we can do it. Come on now, y'all. Come
Mhm.
on. Any bit. Come on, give, give,
Yeah.
give. Now, let's bring up the slides here that show some of the people just, I mean, how to donate here. As we can see here, there's a couple different ways that you can donate to the fund here at, you can go to blackpower96.org/donate. That's blackpower96.org/donate, or send Cash App to $Black Power 96. That's
Mhm.
Cash App at $Black Power 96.
Yes.
Now, our next guest is Walter Smith Jr. He is an engineer who works for the Sierra Club in Florida. Walter has done work rebuilding communities in the South after they were devastated by hurricanes and flooding. He's going to talk about what we can anticipate in terms of increasing extreme weather in Florida and what residents can do to protect our families and to prepare when dangerous storms are approaching. Thank you for joining us, Walter.
Thank you for having me. How you
Yes,
doing?
yes, I'm fine. How are you yourself?
Doing well, doing well.
That's good to hear. And I mean, when it comes to these storms, Walter, it seems like they just keep coming through the area just over and over. And I mean, they're getting stronger and they're coming more frequent. St. Pete really dodged a bullet last fall with Hurricane Milton that some feared would put much of Pinellas County all underwater. It seemed
Right.
like we got more wind than water in the area and causing a lot of damage in downtown. What do you think we can expect in terms of extreme weather and its impact in the Tampa and St. Pete Bay Area? I mean, just coming up in the future.
Well, first of all, I want to pay homage to um, the ancestors and thank you all for having me here and giving this opportunity to speak to my people about this issue. And I got to say that this discussion is something that's long overdue. Black folks are rarely in the discussion when it talks about when we talk about environmental issues, climate change, pollution, and things like that of our community, unless something happens directly. We've got to begin to be in the vanguard of the fight regarding environmental justice and environmental racism against our community. That's I want to say that number one.
Mm,
Number
yes.
two, when we talk about the issues surrounding climate change and issues surrounding the impacts of climate change on our community and what we can expect. When we look at the numbers of industrialized operations that we live around, typically 75% of Black and brown people live around industrialized operations where they're producing hazardous materials,
Mm-hmm.
right, or releasing hazardous materials. Hence the public health issues that we face quite often. But make no mistake about it, when we talk about climate change, it is a part of a public health issue. What we can expect is if we keep on allowing these people to operate the way they operate and not holding them into account, uh, then we're going to continue getting more of the same. The amount of heat that is generated, the carbon that is generated from the operations, cause the waters to get warm. As they're warmed, as many people know, it causes the hurricanes that are sitting out in the waters waiting to hit us. Well, it gives them strength. So as those waters become warmer and warmer and warmer, and our atmosphere becomes warmer and warmer, the waters become warmer. And as that happens, then it strengthens it to the point that it becomes very, very devastating. Now, when we talk about the what we can expect that, and with that comes a myriad of issues,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that includes our health, number one, because you have the impacts that go along with being able to have the type of resilience that's necessary in our communities that we lack quite often when it comes down to making the communities better than they were before, which is what resilience is. Resilience is not just being able to survive something, but be able to rebuild it better than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we have a lot of difficulties here. So we've got to make sure that we are doing what needs to be done to build resilience in our communities, real resilience. We've got to do for self. Our ability to be self-sufficient, our ability to help each other, the types of talent and things that we have in our communities, we've got to make sure that we're using that talent. We have people that have gone to university and come back home. We need that talent to volunteer and help out with determining data and information that we can use to prepare for these storms that are coming.
Mm-hmm.
To warn the city council and county commission when these things are coming about what the needs are of the community, because quite often there's a reason why we're called underserved communities, right?
Mhm.
Right? We're
Right.
called underserved
That's
communities
right.
because we're not being
Mm-hmm.
served. So
Mm-hmm.
that begs um for us to look at who's in our community, what the talents are,
Mm-hmm.
to rally that around the needs of the community, and to make sure that you are making solutions to resolve the things that we can expect will happen and be able to predict what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen what happens with water, right? We've seen the
Mhm.
sewage leak into our water systems, and we don't know for certain, truthfully, because we've not done the testing. We don't know for certain whether or not that water has been cleaned to the point that we could be able to digest or take in that water. There are a myriad of health issues that go along with it, with people who are elderly, who have diabetes perhaps, and they have medications they have to have stored properly. If it's not stored properly, medication goes bad. And it goes bad, then people die.
Mm.
Uh, so there are a bunch of things I can go on and on with those things, but I'd love to come over and actually do a class to help out and show people exactly what it is they can expect, to answer your question.
Oh, wow. Well, like Walter, how you just spoke to the community, and the community is resilient, but the community has to rebuild the community.
Right.
And and I mean, when it comes to that, it's up to the community resources there. And I mean, just kind of speaking to that, what kind of benefit, just, as far as the radio station, how does that benefit the community? What does the radio station bring to the community when, I mean, broadcasting those up to minute to day alerts and changes in the forecast or the impacts of a hurricane, as well as, I mean, even basic survival. So, can you
Right.
just speak to how much that benefit that radio station brings to a particular community or neighborhood?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and I can give you an example of how of it in action. right?
Mm.
Currently, I am a programmer. I have my own NPR show over in Tampa called the Sunday Forum. You actually get the Sunday Forum over here. It used to be Otis Anthony who was the host, and then he brought it to me and had me take over for him. This is 10 years on air now, and we're the only black show on NPR, and the longest in terms of time on air, and that's 2 hours of me running my mouth on on air, right? Dealing with black issues from our perspective.
Mm.
Uh, but the reason I say that on WMNF, for instance, right? WMNF is a community radio station, just like Black Power 96 is a community radio station, right? It takes funds. It takes us being able to support our radio station and our resource in our community in order for it to survive. If we're not giving, listen, folks, and I'm gonna say this to help you out on this, okay? Folks, please support Black Power 96. Support it. Without Black Power 96, you are doing yourself a disservice. Do yourself the favor and support. If it's $5, if it's $1, 50 cents. 50 plus 50 is what? $1. Okay.
A dollar.
Give it. Give it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you got, give it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything counts. So I just want to put that out there. Okay. Now, when we talk about the issue of the importance of these radio stations, of our radio stations especially existing, there aren't many of our radio stations anywhere. I can't say that enough. Okay. So when the opportunity comes to do something like this, we must take it. When you have the type of destruction that I saw, for instance, when I was heading up, I left town for a while, and I ran my radio show from South Carolina in the Low Country,
Okay.
because as an engineer, I was hired up there to go up there and actually help them to rebuild governments, like whole local governments, and to reorganize how they were running, and because everything was destroyed. Okay, and this was Hurricane Matthew. And what happened was incredible. You're talking about counties, whole counties, where the predominant population is black. Okay, for at least 3 to 4 counties around, I was in charge of Hampton County. I was in charge of Beaufort. I was in charge of Bamberg, and Allendale. Those particular counties around were incredible, incredible, because they pulled together. You haven't seen a bunch of black folks in this type of rural situation where it was hopeless practically, that pulled together whatever resources they had to make things work. We were able to rebuild. We were able to make it better than it was before, and they were relentless, relentless. Yeah, we argued, we fought, we argued, but it didn't mean a hill of beans. All we knew was the end goal was what? To make sure that we were building a resilient community, and
Resilient.
that's what we did.
Mm.
You have a series of things to concern yourself with when it comes to that, but the radio station is important to that. Because how are you going to get the information out to people? When I got back home, there was a whole nother hurricane going on, right? When I
Right.
got back home, I had to deal with another hurricane at home. So I would come home on the weekends, and I'm dealing with actually broadcasting individually on my own, right? Not just at the radio station, but on my own from my own living room, like I'm doing right now. Okay.
Mm.
And being able to tell people in our community from Facebook, countywide, whatever, listen, this is what's happening. And I had to deliver the information in Spanish. I had to deliver the information in English. And thank God I'm bilingual, but being able to do that was important because you have people in Puerto Rico who were suffering as a result of that. So our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico could not get in contact with their people down there. And I had a contact down there that was able to help to get people in contact with their friends. So your ability to air anything, your ability to get on radio, your ability to utilize these airways, oh man, it's I can't tell you enough how important it is. I just
Hmm.
can't.
Hmm. how important it is. Thank you for those words. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Now, I mean, Walter, I can't say how much. So just, I'm just kind of, I'm at a loss for words now. Just listening to how you said that, and going back to that rebuilding and taking care of yourself is taking care of your community and taking care of each other. And thank you once again of recognizing how important Black Power 96 FM is to the community and how we love to say we're not just explaining the world here at Black Power 96 FM, we're changing it. And
Absolutely.
thank you
Absolutely.
again so much, Walter.
Let me
Go
just
ahead.
say, and I cannot say this enough, folks. Get involved. And you hear somebody talk about environmental justice, get involved in it. If you don't know anything about it, learn about it. Trust me. Because everything that's happening to our community right now is a matter of environmental justice. You understand me? I hope everybody understands what I'm saying to you, because when I tell you that what I'm saying is true, do the research, and you'll find that everything from where we're located is an environmental issue. What you're eating, environmental issue. Your relationship with the police is an environmental issue. What you breathe
Mm.
is an environmental issue. The babies, our babies, when you talk about Black women and the consistent issue that we've had with Black women having low birth weight babies and mortality, infant mortality rates. Listen, I'm not just an engineer, I'm also an epidemiologist. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the issue concerning that is critical. And when we talk about these storms, and when we talk about the ability to get the message out to our communities, this is important. Get involved. When you hear the Sierra Club, I'm the only Black person on the Sierra staff. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I ride for mine. When I say I ride for mine, I ride for my people. You understand? And I don't play that game.
Yeah.
I make sure that I tell my people, listen, get out there. And there's a lot of resistance. There's resistance. But you got to keep pushing. And when people start realizing, look, when you saw how the electric bills are going up, right?
Going up.
You saw that's an environmental issue.
Mm.
And when we fight, when we get out there and we start speaking publicly to fight against those Tampa Electric Company and Florida Power and all those organizations that are out there ripping us off and getting our children taken from our home because it can't in public housing because you can't keep lights on and all this other stuff.
Yes.
See, when you start looking at that, that's an environmental issue.
He's absolutely
Get
right.
involved with environmental justice and fight against environmental racism. I'm telling you.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Walter. How you doing?
All
The
right.
station manager, DJ Eddie, man, let me tell you, man, I want to appreciate first of all, your stance and coming on today. And I definitely want to be able to get in touch with you so you can come. I can come there and we can continue this conversation. And I just want to appreciate you, man. I gotta move on, but man, I'm telling you, text me your number and I'll text you mine in the chat. Let's stay together.
Once again, thank you so
Back to
much,
you.
dear Walter.
Back to
Thank
you,
you.
Mariah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mr. Eddie, and thank you again so much, Walter. Like you said, definitely, we can just go on as far as this conversation, and we'd love to sit down and talk some more. So let's make that happen. And
Yes.
now, coming up
Hey.
in a minute, we're going to talk to one of our actual volunteers, Kinjay, who spent the night here in the studio during Hurricane Irma, taking listener calls and sharing just that kind of critical information that we've been talking about all evening here. And before we hear from her, let's look and see how we're reaching our goal here. And since we began our fund drive 3 days ago, we received a total of $2,355 towards our first milestone goal to raise the $3,000 to purchase the radio station's upgraded emergency alert system equipment software. And that leaves us with just $645 left to raise in this program tonight. Come on now, y'all. Come on. And I'll remind you, there's that matching fund. Don't forget about it. Any amount you give tonight is being doubled automatically. Give $5, that's 10. Give 50, that's 100. Just give what you can. You heard the importance of this, we're here for you. You're our community, and we're here for you. Now, let's look at those ways to donate again. And that's at blackpower96.org/donate. Hit blackpower96.org/donate. Or you can send in a cash app at $blackpower96. That's $blackpower96. And if you don't already listen to Black Power 96 Radio, you can tune in on 96.3 FM in St. Pete, Florida, or listen from anywhere on blackpower96.org or on the free Black Power 96 mobile app available on the App Store on Google Play. You can also write checks to Black Power 96 and mail to 1245 18th Avenue South, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33705. That's Black Power 96, 1245 18th Avenue South, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33705. And here is a look at the new equipment that is needed to upgrade from the station's current emergency alert system, along with the latest software to comply with the FCC recent and upcoming changes. The cost to upgrade is $3,000. In this first week of the Black Power 96 February Fund Drive, we have been announcing on air and online about the Matching Fund Challenge. A group of generous station supporters, including Chris in St. Pete, an anonymous supporter and volunteer on one of the show teams, plus Simone, Sandy, and Lisa, put together a $1,500 matching fund. Listeners have responded and donated just over $800 already. And we want to raise the remaining amount tonight to unlock that full match and to fund the emergency alert equipment updates the station needs. And we want to let you know about some special thank yous the station is offering when you donate. Everyone who donates will get a magnet reminding you to tune in and with the theme of today's event, Weather the Storms Together with Black Power 96 Radio. And if you are able to give $100 today or start a monthly contribution of $10 a month or more, we'll send as a thank you one of these LED flashlights that can be used during power outages. Recharging is as easy as a simple squeeze and ensuring you'll never be left in the dark due to dead batteries. And if you are able to give $300 or more today, or start a monthly contribution of $25 a month or more, we want to thank you with a Black Power 96 Radio t-shirt. And we want to recognize some of the people who donate every month. And these are sustaining members of Black Power 96. Yes, these are our sustaining members that donate every month. And let's just look at that list. We got Impedum President Matsamela Odom out of California. We got Jamal in Minnesota, Johan in Largo, Florida. We got APSP Secretary General and Hands Off Uhuru Chair Mweze Odom. We got Fofi in St. Louis, Janice out in St. Petersburg, Virginia in Indiana. We got Kasha in St. Petersburg, Stephanie in St. Louis, Brendan in St. Louis, Leah out in Minneapolis, Raya in Chicago, and Sarah down in Minneapolis. I mean, just go on and on. We got supporter Michael out of Wisconsin, Dr. Aisha Fields out of Alabama, Sandy in Washington State, Janet also in Washington, and Edu in Fort Myers, Florida, Ruby out of St. Louis, Absalom in New York, and Emmanuel in Maryland. And these supporters give a monthly donation, are sustaining supporters to provide a stable base of funding for the station. And we encourage anyone who is not already a monthly sustainer, consider giving that kind of consistent, reliable support to your station, your community. $5, $10, $25, like we said, anything here a month, that helps. And we also want to shout out all the supporting members who have already contributed during this drive. There are too many to name, so if you did not hear your name mentioned, no, we just want you to know that name. We appreciate every contribution. They all make a difference. So again, you can donate online at blackpower96.org/donate. You can also donate via Cash App at $ Black Power 96 or write checks to Black Power 96 and mail to 1245 18th Avenue South, St. Petersburg, Florida 33705. Oh, wow. We just got another anonymous donation of $50. So we have, let's see, $405 left to meet our goal tonight. Come on now, y'all. Please help us meet this goal. Come on, give anything. As we said, don't forget about that matching fund. That $5 tonight, that's $10. $20, that's 40. Come on. Oh, wow. Just got another 25 out of Indudu in Fort Myers, Florida. Thank you so much. All right, coming on up next, we are excited to bring on Kinge Mayile, a longtime listener, supporter, and volunteer with Black Power 96. Kinge is a staff member in the office of Chairman Amali Yeshitela. In 2017, Black Power 96 had only been on the air for less than 1 year when Hurricane Irma was headed our way. 2 volunteers were enlisted to remain in the Uhuru House through the storm to keep the station on air, giving updates and taking those calls. Sandy was on the board and Akinge was on the mic. Akinge, what was that like?
Uhuru, and thank you for having me. I think this is a really exciting program, and really want to salute DJ Eddie and all the staff and volunteers at Black Power 96. And you're right, we'd only been on for such a short time. I feel I'm in a unique position to be able to have watched this entire radio station grow from just a small internet, not even a project, but internet based, to now being able to provide service to, the south side of St. Petersburg, Florida. But it was pretty intense on that day, just not having a sense of knowing, exactly what was going to happen, when, how much damage was really going to be done. And just, I'm really thankful and pleased that I was able to be in a position to serve the people in this way, to be able to be on the air, to keep the community informed of where they would go. Because, at a time like that, people begin to panic. People were leaving the city and packing up, and there were people, in our communities not being serviced well or served well. A lot of people were not going to be able to leave town. So they needed to know where to go, and they needed to have a sense of what was happening. If your power was out, all you had was a cell phone. And luckily, people were had uploaded the Black Power 96 app. So we were able to really communicate the conditions on the ground, as well as listening to the local, the national news, to be able to help people anticipate what was coming next. But I do remember just a sense of, I guess it's, they call it an ominous kind of feeling, because you don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Yes.
Wow, that's so
Great to
powerful.
really be, like I said, it was great to be able to be of service, to the community. Our phones were ringing. People needed to know what to do. Where do I go? Where are the shelters? If you don't have a TV, you're not able, your power's off, you're not able to get the local news. But luckily, Black Power 96 was there, as it has been since its inception, being able to inform the community. People, again, as I said, they needed to know where to go, where can I get water, where can I be warm, where can I be safe, what shelters are open, because they had started to impose curfews. I remember a curfew coming. So, people were, you're at that point, people are grabbing whatever they can get, their car or their buses were not running. So they've got to call a friend or just trying to figure out where it is they can go. Because what I remember is that there were also certain areas where the shelters would fill up. So people needed to be able to know where could they go next. And again, I really just appreciate the opportunity to be able to serve the people, to be able to provide that information for them. You know, go over on 4th Street, leave now. If you can't take anything,
Right.
don't take
Mhm.
anything. You
Right.
know, go. That's the way
Mhm.
we empower our communities is by taking care of, you know, taking care of each other. People needed to know where they could get food, where they could get ice. Again, it was, you know, a huge power outage, and I remember just people needing to know where they could go and what they could take with them. You know, you can't take your whole house, and you know, at a time like that, your brain goes to what is important, and all of a sudden everything you own, you know, becomes important. But they were giving specific instructions about what people should bring to the shelters. So we were able to communicate that to, you know, to the masses, especially on the south side. Again, you know, and our communities being underserved, if served at all, um, everything that we have is valuable to us. You know,
Valuable.
and
Mhm.
forces
Mhm.
people to, you know, sometimes have to make decisions, but your life is important. So the most critical thing that we were able to do is being able to save lives, being able to direct people in places where they could be safe, where they could be warm, where they could eat, and you can rebuild the house. You know, you can get another toaster,
Mhm.
microwave.
Mhm.
You can plant more trees, even.
Mhm.
No, but life is very, very valuable. And I, again, as I said, I just appreciate the opportunity to be able to serve the community in that way, because I'm certain that we were able to save many, many, many lives in our community during that time period. Again, I just really I appreciate Black Power 96 so much. And again, I feel especially proud of the fact that I've been there since the inception. I really want to salute the APEDF board president, Onazane Yeshitela, and my leadership, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, for really continuing to encourage the people, our people, Black people, and really helping us to see who we can be, um, by providing all of these opportunities for us to be, you know, truly the best sons and daughters of Africa. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Thank you so much, Darren. Just hearing that, that's so powerful to hear that, like you said, the community was lost. The community didn't know where to turn to, and where did they go there, and who stepped in there, Black Power 96, to say, hey, this is what you need to do to survive. This is what you need to do to come together. This is what you need to do to rebuild. Wow. Thank you for sharing that story from being there. I mean, that time and being there for our community. Thank you so much there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, coming up, I want to just go ahead and pass it over to Mr. Eddie so we can go ahead and introduce our next guest here.
Thank you, Mariah, Mississippi. I just want to salute Kenge for her stance and just appreciate that we can for our community as Black people. We must do that. And I always tell the deputy chair on for the Black Power Blueprint, but a name that hasn't been mentioned, and director of Agripods, Kile Anayi. Want to make sure that that name is not forgotten. She does a lot for this radio station and a lot for this community. So I want to salute Director Kile Anayi. And now I'm going to turn to a brother that volunteers here at BP 96. He has a show here. You've been seeing pictures of him peeking in and out. Dr. Warren Crabb, and I want to say good evening to you, Dr. Crabb. How you doing, man? Well, Dr. Crabb, tell the people the importance of having a radio station and something about you and your show.
Okay, first of all, there are a limited amount of Black-owned radio stations in this country. So this is an institution more than just, you know, a radio station. An institution necessary for we
move. We can't really hear Dr. Crab there.
Oh, you can't hear my voice? Really?
Come on up a little closer.
Okay. So we as a community, as we go in survival mode, we look for
It's still real hard for us to
opportunities.
hear him.
Still hard.
It is?
Yeah.
See, let me slide over, Dr.
Okay. Is this better?
There we go. We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you. Hooroo.
It's over here. All right. So I was saying that station is more than just a radio station. It's a community institution. Is more than just sounds coming out over the airwaves. As the brother said, in these days and times. What's his brothers? I don't know. Okay, I'm Brother Walter. We go into survival mode and we need information. Information is key when it comes to survival. You know, mobile go into a state of demise, and you knew better, you do better. You know, it's because of ignorance, lack of knowledge, do my people perish. So I'm very big on being an edutainer. So when I came to St. Petersburg, Florida, I'm looking for black music on the radio as I'm riding around, you know, and I came across DJ Eddie. Get out that bed. and I'm up. So, you know, I'm doing a lot of things, but I take time. I am here. We're going on 3 years, man. Going on 3 years. I think that I missed once the building was struck by lightning. And one other time, but besides that, I haven't missed a Wednesday drive at 5 here at Black Power 96, BlackPower.org, all over the world.
Really quickly now, why should people support?
Here's the thing. If you don't support it and this radio station disappears, what lifeline do you have in our community that cares about our community? There's no other lifeline in our community in South St. Petersburg, Florida, that is concerned about our community. Asking for money. Let me get that. Now, when I say ask for money, I'm talking about buying stuff. I'm not talking about supporting. We need money in order to support the community. None of this is free. The manipulator made sure that it wasn't free if we want to help our people. So we had to pay the price. That's why it's important to support Black-owned radio stations, and especially Black Power 96.3 in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yes, you're hooroo. And you heard it from one of our programs right here himself, Dr. Crab. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you so much. Now, I do know that you guys got Johnny William Hanover right now. Johnny Hanna, is Johnny Hanna in the studio there?
No, he's live. He's live, and we're gonna introduce Johnny Hanna. I'm gonna do that for you, Mariah. Johnny should be online right now, but let me tell you a little bit about Johnny Hanna. He was a local artist that sent his music in. He's from Stone Mountain, Georgia, and he sent his music in, and he had 3 #1 songs here at BP 96. He made the trip down from Georgia to come see the station and set in live on Jay Wooten's show to be get interviewed. And just a remarkable person. I got to meet him and his wife. And that's a remarkable stand for a brother to come drive way down from Stone Mountain, Georgia, here to St. Petersburg, Florida, to be a part and see where he was chosen #1 3 consecutive records in a row. And if Johnny Hanna, if you're on, we want to talk to you, Johnny. Good evening, Mariah. Can you let it
Welcome, Johnny Hanna. Welcome.
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Welcome.
We are well. Thank you so much for having me. We're on the road right now, so the connection may drag a little bit, but it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Mariah, go ahead and interview Mr. Hanna for me.
Okay, now I just want to say now how we know that Mr. Hannah, you are one of our frequent winners here on our Black Power 96 local going global contest. And I mean, we have our listeners, they tune into the station to listen to the music that we know, listen to music that we don't know, and just, I mean, and they love it. And come on, how do you feel about that?
I feel good. I feel good. I talk to my wife about it often. I just the validation is enough to energize me to keep pushing forward. I'm a disabled veteran, suffer from spinal stenosis, so I'm in pain all the time. And the music is a way to help me deal and cope with the pain. So I created the music, and the kids like it. My wife liked it. They said, "Hey, why don't you submit it?" So that was really my first introduction, really, to online radio. So I submitted the songs. DJ Eddie contacted me. We had conversation, and they were submitted, and apparently people like them.
Now they do, because you are definitely one of our frequent winners there. Now, when it comes to that, just kind of going back, when it comes to that contest, can you tell our listeners what is that? When we say that local going global contest, what does that look like, the process there?
Well, I'll tell you, in my household, it was crazy. My wife was screaming so loud when she heard, I guess, my voice on the radio. I tried to stay calm and cool and collected about it, but she was extremely excited. She's my biggest fan, biggest supporter. Um, when I created the music, it was just a way to really express myself, and like I said before, just to help cope with the pain. I didn't expect the family to really, gravitate to the songs like that, and then even suggest putting them out there just to see if the community and it would kind of latch on to it. It's energizing. It's energizing. It gives me that little extra motivation to keep making music and to keep trying to put my best foot forward.
And I know that feeling. I can only imagine. You said listening, who's more excited in the family? But all this, that's just a great thing to hear. And thank you so much for being a regular contributor. And our listeners love it. We love it. Thank you so much when it comes to that. Now, speaking of listeners, you're just not one of our local going global regular winners there. You also are a listener of the station. And coming out of, like we say, the stations in Florida, but you are in Stone Mountain, Georgia. And Johnny, now, how do you feel that you're able to tune in to a station that's for the community, for you and for our people?
Well, I'll tell you honestly, this program right here. It really, really educated me. I knew about online radio. I know how radio stations work. But the reach into the community that BP 96 has, I think I'll be the first one to admit, I think I underestimated it. After sitting in and listening to the other panelists speak, I have a deeper appreciation, and I have a deeper appreciation for the radio station, and I want to commend DJ Eddie and his staff for staying at the station that night, because my wife suggested that I call just to make sure everyone was okay when Milton came through, because we heard the news reports. We knew that St. Petersburg was going to take a direct hit, and that there was going to be some surging from the ocean and flooding. And when I spoke with him, he was calm, cool, collected. He said that everyone's going to stay. And there was a prayer that was put out over the airwaves that just, I mean, the people at the radio station were covered spiritually. I'll tell you that much. That was a very powerful prayer. With the upgrading of the emergency alert system, I think that will not only help the local community as it did when Milton came through, but it'll also help the listeners who don't live in that area. Just because you don't live in St. Petersburg doesn't mean that you don't care about what's happening in St. Petersburg. You should care about what's happening in all across the world, because world events are going to affect you locally at some point in time. So yeah, I think that just sitting in and listening to the panelists, it gave me a deeper appreciation for BP96 and the work that they're doing in the community. I mean, I have to commend the station for its reaching out and just trying to make people more aware and to lift people up. I this is a new experience for me, and I'm grateful to be a part of it, and I want to continue to be a part of it, and me and my wife will help out in any way that we can, as much as we possibly can.
And we love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for that word, and thank you for, just explaining that. Like you said, Johnny, that the community isn't just where you are. If it's about African people, no matter where it is, that's your
Exactly.
community. So, just thank you. And that's so powerful. And thank you for being who you are. And thank you for giving us that music, and don't stop. Okay.
All right.
Well, and thank you. Like I said, I appreciate you so much there. Now,
Thank you. Thank you.
absolutely. Now, this discussion should really show us how important local radio really is. And I mean, like, not only in providing radio airtime to our local artists and a platform for the views of our local community, but critical emergency information during the times of crisis. Like we've heard, life or death times. What do we do? Where do we turn? We turn to our people. We turn to our community. We turn to Black Power 96 FM. Just looking here, I see that we've received even more donations. We've received another 25 donation from Miss Christine, and a donation of $20 from S. Moore, and $50 from Deborah, and $100 from Mona in Washington, D.C. Thank you so much there. This leaves, let's see here, just $365 left to raise to purchase this important essential equipment. Y'all just come on, guys. We're almost there. Keep those donations coming in. BlackPower96.com/donate. $ Black Power 96 on Cash App. Keep it coming in. Don't forget about that match fund. You give $5, it's $10 going to the station. Thank you so much. Now, we have one of our newest programmers in the studio now with you, Mr. Eddie, don't you?
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
do you want to introduce her?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Mariah. Yes, she's been here, new programmer. I love her to pieces. She calls me Uncle Eddie. We're not related, but I feel like Uncle because she comes in and just like a niece, she says, Uncle Eddie, can I do this? Can I do? And of course, just been here for 1 month, just 1 month. The name is Simone Durant. And first, I want to salute and give props to Johnny Hanna. And he said something that I am so dear to. When we talk about the emergency broadcast system and the alert and what we should be doing and how we should be moving, he mentioned that I gave a prayer. God is foremost in my life. And I want to just thank him for just repeating that night he was listening to the storm. As the storm was going around us, a lot of people were frightened, scared.
Mr. Eddie, can you
Yes.
move closer a little bit? We're having a little bit of problem hearing you there. We want to make sure we hear everything you got to
Can-
say.
Yes, can you hear me now?
We can hear you loud and clear now.
Can you
Go
hear
ahead.
me now?
I
Yes,
can
I
hear
want to
you.
thank Johnny Hanna because he mentioned that when he was listening that night of the storm about how I was praying in prayer, and I was calm. He said he called me. I was calm. The calm came from God Almighty. It was a storm all around me. We had winds that were blowing never ever in St. Petersburg, Florida, that they have reached 100 miles an hour. I was calm. God gave me the calm in the midst of the storm. And I think that's, this station brings you gospel every morning. And I just wanted to say that because I had to be obedient. But this young lady, again, is Simone Durant. She has a show, and I'm going to let her say, when did your show come on? And what do you think about this station?
So first of all, hi, everyone. I am Black Power Certified Hair Loss Specialist and Restoration Expert, Simone Durant. I come on every Monday at 10 a.m. So look forward to hearing me. Like you said, it's my very first month here. And I'm so excited to have this platform. As a certified hair loss specialist, a lot of times people don't really get the information unless they're coming for an appointment, unless they're scheduling to spend money. So because this is a not-for-profit radio station, I get to share that information worldwide for free, right? They don't have to pay to have knowledge, because knowledge is power. And I'm so grateful for this platform. But I do want to speak to one thing that most people don't know, and that is the process that they do to get us on the show. Our meetings every week are so informative. It's not just about being on the radio. We have education, you know, we set goals, we encourage each other, we support other initiatives that the African People Education and Defense Fund has going on throughout the city. You know, we listen in, we give get those YouTube plays, those, you know, everything to make sure that every single component of this movement wins, right? And so I learned so much just from training to be on the show, through the orientation process, and they are 100% from the heart. So I'm just excited to be a part of this platform. But I also want to speak to the importance of the emergency response system, because my sister stays in Detroit. So she is always worried about us. She doesn't get to come home as much. And by being connected to the resources that give them information here in St. Pete, she can chime in to, you know, the radio station online. Even though she doesn't have the radio station locally to her, she can still find out what's going on with us. And so because she cares so much about us, this has been an asset for her too. And that's just one example of many. My mentor is not local to Florida, and she gets to take part in learn and grow with me, as well as other hair loss specialists throughout the country, friends, family, all over. They get to support. You know, they get to support and get the same education that everyone else here locally is getting from me. And so sometimes I'll hear them call and say, oh, like, that was a great show, this and that, and I'm just like, thank you. But it wouldn't be possible without platforms like this if they didn't know exactly where to find the information. And so it's so important that we support, that you donate, because like we said, this is a not-for-profit radio station. And so we need support from viewers and listeners like you all. So thank you for everyone who has already donated and who will donate in the future.
Thank you. That's Simone Durant. You can catch her every Monday from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock right here at Black Power 96.3 FM.
This call will be recorded.
And thank you so much, Simone.
This call is no longer being recorded.
And I'm gonna ease someone else in, Angela, who works here, volunteer with us here at BP 96, and she's just hopped aboard herself just recently. And for about 2 minutes, because I'm just squeezing you in, but for 2 minutes, I want you to tell the importance and how you came to be here at BP 96.
Hey, hello, y'all.
Hello.
How are you? It's an honor for me to be here at Black Power FM, and all I could do is say I'm learning a lot, and I thank Sandy, Lisa, especially my station manager Eddie, and all I could do is say I'm on board, and whatever I need, I'm here to do. I'm with whatever, and just all I could do is just say support, and I'm definitely all for our culture. So that's all I can say for these 2 minutes.
All right. Yes, support. As station manager, 100% blind. I don't see nothing, but my phrase is, I don't see anything, but I feel everything. And I feel that we can reach our goal wherever you are. Support this Black radio station. Support what is ours. We have to support what is ours, because nobody's going to give us anything. We have to earn it. We've been in a struggle for 400 years or more. And now we're calling on you to help with the struggle. Help this station. It's your community. It's your stories, your station. There's several ways you've heard how you can donate. I'm asking and pleading that you do it. Cash App. We are all Cash Apping these days. Cash App $ Black Power 96. Cash App $ Black Power 96. Or you can go up on the web, be a sustainer. $5 a month, $10 a month. Do like DJ Eddie, $20 a month. Go ahead and sustain $20 to $50, you can do it. If you have it, give it. But it doesn't take one man to make a millionaire. One man can give you $1 million. I'm calling on the community to do just that. Donate and donate now. And also on the web at blackpower96.org/donate. Search your heart and do your part. Do what you can, why you can. Back to you, Mariah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eddie. Thank you so much. Do what you can while you can. And I so feel that. And come on now, y'all. Come on. Those donations are coming in, and you heard it. This is your station. So this is you giving to you. And I just want to say thank you so much for our new programmers. We're so excited about these new shows. Thank you so much. Now, just looking at some of our donations that still coming in, I want to say thank you to you. Thank you to Sheila out in New York City, a longtime supporter and advocate for Black Power 96, and a supporter of the Who movement for her donation of $10. Also, a $10 donation from Junior Shield out of Massachusetts. And $100 from Penny Hess, chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee and a frequent voice heard on Black Power 96 on the Reparations and Action show that airs every Friday afternoon. Thank you so much, Chairwoman Penny Hess. And Johnny Hanna, who is a frequent winner of the station's Local Going Global, and we just heard from him contest for a new artist to get on the airplane, has just donated $25 to the station.
Yoo-hoo, Johnny.
Yoo-hoo. And Anonymous has donated $50. $50. Thank you so much. So you know what that means, Mr. Eddie? That means that we only have $180 left to go.
Wow.
$180. Come on now, y'all.
3,000. Wow.
$180.
Count on them. We counted on the people. The people have the power. The people have the power to do everything and anything. The government have been oppressing us for years. Here is a time for us to make the stance, to say that we can do for ourselves independently. Together, we can do for ourselves. Black people are on the rise. We are no longer just sitting back waiting on a handout. This is how we make things happen for ourselves, by having a radio station that is geared to the Black community. It's geared to the Black community. The emergency broadcast system is nothing that we said, we just drummed up to say, oh, we need an emergency broadcast system. No, the federal government mandating that we have this. So it's not that we're just easing on down the road. No. Again, they have made it possible for any way they possibly can to try and limit a radio station like this, but the people says no. That's why we're getting the donations. And I'm calling on all of you all to donate. And every dollar that you make now is going to be matched. Thank you for the $10, because that's 20. Thank you for the $50, because that's 100. Thank you for the $100, because that's $200. Let's open up. Let's make this happen.
Let's make it happen. You heard it. 100 is 200, 50 is 100, anything, you guys, come on now. We have $180 left to go out of $3,000 to get this equipment that we needed. Something that was already awarded to us, but revoked. But we got it our own. You got it your own. Thank you so much. Come on, donate.
Mariah, I want to also say, after this program is going to end, it's going to end in a little bit. They can still donate, or they can go ahead and put it in the chat. They want to make a pledge. A pledge is just the same as a promise. So if they want to do that, they can continue to donate even off the line. And don't forget to wake up, get out that bed, and join me tomorrow for Good Morning Gospel. God knows your heart. Time to follow it. Back to you, Mariah.
Absolutely, Mr. Eddie. Like you said, bang, bang, knock, knock. And we want to thank everyone for tuning in today, and keep listening to Black Power 96 Radio all month long. Those donations, keep them coming in, guys. You heard it. You heard the important. It's your radio station. We're here for you. This is your community. We're your community. You're given to you. On February 14th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, there will be a special live episode of the Reparations in Action White Lies Shattered radio show and podcast. And on February 15th, don't miss the gospel concert at Gethsemane Missionary Baptist Church in St. Pete. Doors open at 4 p.m. Program starts at 5 p.m. And this is an in-person event. And for more details, you can check out blackpower96.org/gospel and grab those tickets there, guys. Now, and you can look for updates on the Black Power 96 website, the app, our social media. Join us, follow us, engage with us. Let us know what we are doing for you. Let us know how important we are for you and what we can do for you. And details about all this and any other special programs, we keep it coming right there on our website and on our social media. Now, Mr. Eddie, do you want to close us out?
Yes, I would love to close this out. First, I want to give honor to God. Thank God for all that he's done for all of us here, near and far. I want to thank everybody for watching, everybody who's had to give, could give, and gave, that didn't have to give and wanted to give. May God bless and keep you. And remember my motto as always. I want to thank so many people: Lisa Watson, Sandra Forrest, Chairman Amalia Satella, Deputy Chair only today, of course, and Director Kitty and I, you, Mariah, all of us, the people behind the scenes that made this happen. May God bless you. May God keep you. And remember my motto: be good to me. I'll be good to you. We're good together. Uhuru, it means freedom. And Vanguard up. Stay relentless.
Uhuru. Uhuru.
Yeah.
That is so funny. That is so funny.